All right, I think we should go ahead and get started, and more people will join in as we go through the introduction here, I'm sure. But welcome everybody to our JUMPinar series. This is our bi-weekly webinar series that we host on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m., where we host a variety of special guests and experts in specific areas of the real estate world that we think can share their experience and knowledge with you. This is stuff that we don't necessarily have time to cover in our official training program, but we like to dedicate some time to a little deep dive, and also like network with people and let people know who they can reach out to in the community for help with their real estate projects. So tonight we're joined by a great local business called Affinity Cleans, and it's we have their founder, I guess, top member, and her name is L'Oreal. And I'm sure you saw on the flyer that there was also going to be her partner Lawrence. He can't join us tonight. We're sorry to hear that, but happy L'Oreal is here to continue the conversation. So I just wanted to give people a reminder that the recordings of all these Jumpinars are available on our website at jumpstartgermantown.com. Just click on the media tab up top, and you can see our full library at both the podcast versions and the Zoom recordings for all the topics we've covered. And also, our loan program is open and we're accepting loan applications. So if you also go to jumpstartphilly.com, and I'm going to ask Jack, if you could put those in the chat real quick. Just jumpstartgermantown.com for the training program and Jumpinars, and jumpstartphilly.com for any information about our loan program. And we'd be happy to review a project that you have, presented in front of you. But yeah, I think that's everything to get started. Real quickly, we will have a Q&A session at the end of tonight. And that will be open for anybody to type in questions into the Q&A tab on the Zoom toolbar there. And I'll ask them to L'Oreal, and we'll hopefully generate some discussion on the topic here tonight. So be sure to stick around. We'll probably get to that, I'm guessing, around 7:30 or 7:45, depending on how long we talk here. But that is all I gotta say. So I'm going to introduce our guest here tonight, and her name is L'Oreal Robinson. And like I said, she is the founder and owner of a business, Affinity Cleans, which is a professional cleaning service. And if you're not 100% sure what that means or how that's different from just getting a bottle of Windex and wiping stuff off around your house, we're going to learn tonight. And she sounds like a wealth of knowledge and has some experience similar to you all in the call as jump starters, as she's gone through the program. And it's great to have her here tonight. How's it going, L'Oreal?
Oh, it's wonderful, wonderful. And good evening to everyone. And I'm just excited to be here and that you decided to join us today.
Awesome. Yeah, we're excited to have you. The first thing I want to know about is you are a jump starter. So why don't you tell us when you went through the program and sort of your background and how you got connected with us?
So yes, I am a Jumpstart alum. I went through the program in 2017. And after I went through the program, I started actually as a developer. I did my first property, went through the loan process. I did get my funding through the Jumpstart loan, and it was extremely successful. I was very fortunate. I was able to sell my first house in 2017. It was, we put it on the market, and we were under contract before the weekend was out. We went on the market on a Wednesday, and then it was under contract by Saturday.
Nice. That's awesome. So you have some experience in the development world and completing real estate rehab projects. Tell me a little bit about your project history. Did you usually do buy and sells or buy and hold projects, or something different?
I've done both. So I've done 2 flips, but then I also did rentals as well. So I do, have a couple of rentals as well. So I've been able to do both. And as I said, utilize the Jumpstart funding, which has been tremendous.
Great.
And once COVID hit, it's when I kind of pivoted and cooled off with the real estate and started the cleaning company.
Nice, and I'm sure you weren't alone with that. I'm sure a lot of people had to pivot and find different ways to make money. When things like construction shut down in Philadelphia, right? So let me just then ask, like, how did you go from being a real estate developer? The pandemic hit. Things had changed a little bit in your perspective and your goals and everything. What made you make that move to Affinity Cleans and starting a cleaning business?
So where that came about, I was at the end of a project. And the guy who I had used to clean the last house, I couldn't find him. Mm-hmm. He was gone. And so I'm at the end of the project. We're trying to get stagers in to stage the home. My realtor wants to come in and get the professional photographs and videos taken, and I couldn't find a cleaner.
Mhm.
So I'm reaching out to people and they're giving me referrals and names, and people aren't in business or they're unavailable. And I said, this is not good. And from that, I thought, you know what? I need to start a cleaning service, right?
Yeah.
And with the intention of supporting, other investors, landlords, and property managers who need cleaning services, and from someone that's reliable, that's local and in the area, that's not going to disappear overnight, when you need them. And
Yeah.
that's how Affinity Cleans came to be.
Awesome. And that's different than, someone who is maybe really good at cleaning or has a passion for cleaning who's like, oh, I'm going to fill this service for developers. No, you were a developer, right? You were doing the work that you wanted to help out with. So I'm sure that made it a bit easier and helps you get a competitive edge over people, right?
Absolutely, because I understand what an investor needs. Also being a landlord and sometimes self-manage my own property. I do use a property manager. I have seen all sides of it,
Mhm.
and time is of the essence when you're an investor. Even
Mhm.
as a landlord, and you're trying to get a tenant in there right away, you need the property clean and ready so
Mhm.
that you can turn over the property for your tenant or for your buyer. And so that was something that I said that our company, would stand out for us, is because we're here and we're available and we're flexible enough to meet tight deadlines
Yeah.
for our clients.
Right. And then so that was in 2017, or you completed the training program in 2017, and then when did you, or I guess the pandemic was 2020. So you've been
Yeah.
running the business for about 2 years now, is that right?
About so we incorporated, and then we probably, we got our office, so we do have a physical presence. Our office, we're located in Glenside, in Montgomery County, so we have a physical building. So we only started taking clients for about a year. We're coming up on about a year anniversary.
Awesome.
Prior to that,
Congratulations.
we were, thank you.
Yeah.
So, prior to that, it was infrastructure, getting a building, getting equipment, getting staff, getting people trained. And
Yeah.
so, it was a couple of months before we actually took our first client. But yeah, we're coming up on a year anniversary of actually servicing clients.
That's awesome. And then so did you start doing work in Philly and expand from there, or did you start in Glenside and then, taking on projects in Philadelphia?
So it all at once, because once the physical office is located in Glenside, but because we're so close to the Philadelphia border, I
Mhm.
mean, we get clients on both.
Not like you're restricted to just a small area around the store or anything. You're ready to take
No,
projects anywhere. Cool.
absolutely.
Cool. All right. Well, that's a great background in your business, and hopefully that frames the rest of the conversation, right? About why your cleaning service and just professional cleaning services in general are so beneficial for developers as opposed to you letting units get dirty or not doing the proper clean out before a demo or before a rehab or something. So let's talk about like the exact topic tonight, which is professional cleaning services. And why don't you define for us what that means for somebody to hire a professional cleaning service as opposed to a contractor who did a cleanup at the end of the job or themselves.
Well, there are a couple of differences. And the first one would be, as I mentioned earlier, which is someone that is intention to be around, right? So you have independent cleaners. These are people who do it. Maybe it's a hobby. Maybe they work for someone else and they're doing cleanings now on their own independently, but there's not necessarily the stability there. And so, one of the things that we wanted to do, is not a hobby. We have a physical location, we're invested in the community. We have equipment, and that, so that for our clients, we're not going to disappear. You call the cell phone number, you call the office, and it's like ding, ding, ding.
Right.
This number's not, So that's the difference between using kind of an independent operator and an actual established business.
Yeah.
Also license bonding and insurance. We have a choice. You can hire someone to come into your home, but if something happens, if they break something or damage something, you really have no recourse.
Mhm.
And so those are the things that, as a business professional, that you have to think about. You
Mhm.
know, if there are damages in your home or someone comes in and steals something, etc., you can't find a person, right? And so you may pay a little bit more for a professional, cleaning service, but you're paying for a little bit more assurance.
Yeah, totally. And I'm sure that that concept's applicable to a lot of aspects of real estate development, right? Like not just a cleaning service, but contractors and anybody who's helping with your project. You want to make sure that they're not going to disappear and leave you with a fat bill, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I would also add to that as well. The third aspect would be training, right? Some people think that cleaning is just going in with, a bottle of Clorox and some uh, towels and wiping things down. But a professional cleaning service, there is training.
Hmm.
And so we invest in training so that our cleaners understand chemicals, which surface those chemicals can be used on, what chemicals are appropriate for various surfaces to remove various stains, whether it's paint, is it glue, is it, bodily fluids um, that have to be removed. And just, some person cleaning wouldn't necessarily know that. You don't go in bleaching everything. There's certain chemicals that are designed. Learning about those chemicals that are eco-friendly,
Hmm.
chemicals don't always get the same result, right? Some eco-chemicals aren't as effective on certain surfaces as others. So what you're paying for is that knowledge, okay? There's also a system to it. When you go into a house, there's a strategy, there's a system, high and low, making sure you get in the corners, the baseboards, all surfaces, mopping, making sure that the floors leave a shine, the sink leaves a shine, that the toilets are sanitized, the bathroom, the kitchen, appliances, things are sanitized.
Hmm.
And so that's what you're paying a little bit more for, is that training and that expertise that they have to get a professional result, because there is a difference.
Right. And then I want to highlight something you said, which was like damaging or the potential damage that a cleaning service could cause. I mean, I'm sure that it happens where they knock a vase over, right? Or something, a scratch on the wall, but it sounds like there's like chemicals could cause the most damage, right? And sort
Oh,
of
absolutely.
it
Absolutely.
might
And
seem
mixing chemicals, right? If you mix, bleach and ammonia, that's toxic. You create toxic fumes. So, again, a lot of people don't necessarily appreciate the training that goes into it and the knowledge that goes into it, which is why this forum is great to educate people.
yeah.
There are some people that are just great cleaners, right? And they're not professionals, they're just great cleaners. And it comes naturally, but a professional cleaning service, it is your business to know.
Hmm.
It is your business to know
Yeah.
and to train your employees and to make sure that you're using chemicals. There's a huge movement right now about eco-friendly. People don't want the strain on the environment from a lot of the chemicals. They have allergies, they're very sensitive to scents and smells. And so having the right products that are still going to get you a professional result, that are environmentally friendly, pet safe, as well as child safe.
Yeah.
And so a professional cleaning company, those chemicals cost more. And as a professional business, you're able to go to the supply stores and get that because you're licensed.
Right.
And not just using chemicals over the counter in the drug stores, et cetera. We use, professional cleaning agents and detergents that are only available to professionals, which get a different result.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And so I want to ask about sort of the different scenarios where you might be using a cleaning service. As you know, the job model is kind of focuses on two types of investment properties. There's a buy and sell project or a rental property, where you're buying and holding it and refinancing with a tenant. There's a general notion, at least in my experience, that a rental property doesn't need to be as I guess it depends on your strategy, but it doesn't need to be as high quality as a sale because your tenants aren't necessarily living there because they love the home, right? They're living there because it's a place to live. I know that's a huge generalization. Would you like what are the differences in standards for cleaning in a home that you've just rehabbed that you want to sell for $200,000 versus a rental unit that you're getting $1,400 a month for?
Well, I would say if you bring in a professional cleaning company, whether it's a rental property or you're getting a home ready for sale to a buyer, it needs to be sanitary. And particularly, we're still in the middle of a pandemic, right? And so you really want to make sure that your high touch surfaces
Mhm.
are sanitary when you have people coming in and out of the home, whether it's a tenant or a buyer. Okay. And so, as I mentioned before about the various cleaning chemicals, we use cleaning agents that are basically hospital grade. Okay. So it not only kills COVID, but other things like MRSA, bacteria, certain viruses
Mhm.
that linger on the surface. So when you bring in a professional cleaning service, you're getting that. Those aren't things necessarily that we talk about, but those cleaning products are able to clean, I mean, even herpes off a surface because they're hospital grade
Mhm.
cleaners. And so you know that you're turning over a property that has been sanitized for the next person.
Mhm.
And I think that there's a difference between being a amateur, at this or someone that is a professional where you're very conscientious about those things. And that's the selling feature for you as an investor. You know,
Right.
the property is when you say move-in ready, you really mean move-in ready.
Yeah, totally. So like cleaning a rental prop. I mean, one difference that comes to my mind is that cleaning a rental property, you're cleaning up after other people. You're cleaning up after your tenants or whoever lived in the place before you started renting it. But for a buy and sell project, you're cleaning up after your contractors, I guess, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, and those are two separate type of cleaning. So they actually have a name, right? It's called move in, move out. And so an investor will call us up and say, listen, I got a tenant that just moved out. I'm getting ready for a new tenant. That's a move in, move out cleaning. And so in that regard, we come in and we clean the inside of the cabinets, sanitize the toilet, the kitchen, the bathroom, mop the floors, the carpets, etc.
Mhm.
So that when that tenant comes in, it's sanitary and ready for them to move in. Okay.
Mhm.
Really don't, some people say, well, I'm going to clean again anyway, which is fine. But if you choose not to, it is completely sanitary for you to move in with your belongings
Mhm.
because it's been professionally cleaned.
Mhm.
Post-construction cleaning takes longer than a move-in, move-out cleaning because of the construction dust, sawdust, and debris that's left behind anytime you do a renovation.
Mhm.
Drywall dust gets everywhere, and it tends to kind of blow into other rooms, maybe rooms that haven't been touched. So the cleaner has to spend more time getting that drywall dust off the baseboard, off the walls, out of the carpet. And so those are a little more expensive, but they're also a lot more time consuming for that reason. Sawdust, that stuff has to be swept, it has to be mopped. And order to get the house sanitary and clean for your buyer or your tenant that's moving in.
Yeah, and I like what you said about this it being a selling point in terms of a rental, right? If you're doing just the turnover, you can kind of assure your tenant or whoever's potentially looking to rent your unit, you're like, when you move in, this standardized service is already going to be taken care of. It's not like, it'll be still messy or you have questions about it. It's like just like staging your property, right? It's like
Mhm.
you want to show them what your standards are as the landlord, I guess, right?
And I would add, Derek, that you lift an excellent point. And I would add to that, some landlords, because I know I have it in my rental agreement, some landlords require that you return the property cleaned. Okay. And so landlords can remind their tenants when they're moving out to either clean it or get a professional cleaning company to come in so that they don't lose that security deposit.
Right.
Okay. So I would encourage landlords to put a provision in there that the tenant return it clean if
Mhm.
it's not already in the lease agreement. And, they can refer their tenant to call a company like ours so that it's less for the landlord to have to do as well if the tenant takes responsibility of it, or
Right.
they can engage our services directly.
Mhm.
So
Right.
that
And I like your idea of almost like encouraging if you don't want to, if you as the developer, don't for some reason don't want to take on that burden of paying for the service, it's almost like rather than hoping that your tenants are doing a good enough job cleaning, right? You can say, hey, here's this thing that makes it super easy and we'll speed this whole process along for you. And that way it kind of makes them feel like you're helping them a bit.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And, as the landlord is showing the property to other potential renters, it's clean to a level where they say, oh, this is a really nice place. I can really move in and not have to worry about doing anything else. And that is a selling feature, because when people move in, they want to start getting settled and putting their things away, and having it clean is really sets a good tone for that landlord tenant relationship.
Cool. And I know I think we're going to talk about this a little bit in our notes, but I wanted to bring it up now in that clean or sorry, you called it the post construction cleaning. Like tell me about where that step comes in the process. Is it like as soon as you finish construction, you get that cleaning services in as soon as possible, or do you want to wait closer to like when you're going to actually be showing and renting or selling the unit? You know what I mean? Like
It could
like
slightly depend, right? So the main thing for developers, once you complete the renovation, you want to make sure that the contractor is completely out. Okay. You want to make sure that work is fully completed. You've done your inspection. Um, you've had your inspector come in. There's not anything that they need to come back in and do. You've done your inspection. You've had your home inspector come in, and the contractor is fully out of the property. And this is before you stage. You would want to get the property clean before your realtor comes in to take the professional photos. You want the property clean. So that's where the post-construction will come in, and such that after the cleaning, now you're ready to do your listing photos and or your staging. And after that, your open houses for your potential buyers.
And how about the move in, move out? If you as the developer are, planning to do that between each tenant, do you want to do that like the day before the new tenant comes in or the day after the last tenant moved out?
Well, that's such a great point that you bring up, because sometimes landlords call us too soon. You want to make sure that your tenant is completely out and they didn't leave furniture or trash and all of those things behind. Okay. And then once you know they're fully out, because sometimes landlords they have to come in and do a clean out because they've left so many things behind. And so, and then you also don't want to do it on the same day that the other person is supposed to move in. You want to time it so that there is at least a day between when your tenant has moved out and you have gone through or had your agent go through to make sure that all of their personal effects and personal belongings are gone before you bring in your cleaning service. Because
Gotcha.
sometimes, we've had situations we showed up and we're like, listen, they've left the whole living room in here.
Right. So it's kind of like the like when you get the cleaning final seal of approval on that. Like you're like construction's done, this is the finish. I really hear your point about you can really undo a lot of work and burn a lot of money if you have a plumber come in to fix a broken sink like after you've done the cleaning service and like oh, now this is this beautiful
Yeah,
really dirty.
right, right. Or you haven't made sure that your tenant is all the way out, right? And so now you have to call for a clean out. And again, like you said, this cleaning service is clean, and now they're coming in to do a clean out with dirty boots, and they're dragging a couch across the floor, and all of this stuff. So you definitely want to make sure that everybody's out, such that you can get the full benefit of the cleaning that you paid for.
Great. And I wanted to ask about this because I know this was your flyer that you sent out, air quality. Can you talk to me about how like cleaning a house in general can really increase like how does air quality, I guess, affect a tenant or a person who's buying the home? Like, why should they care about that? Like, I feel like most people just assume living in a house, the air quality must be good, right?
Well, I would say this to any and everybody, uh, that we overlook how much dust is in the air, and particularly if you have a forced HVAC system, which most developers are putting into their properties now. And if those air filters aren't changed regularly, you are blowing around pet dander, if you have pets, cat hair, you know, regular hair, dead skin scales and so forth. So a lot of people that suffer from allergies, they don't realize that the reason why it's exacerbated is because of the poor air quality in the home. So when you have a professional cleaning, one of the major tasks of your cleaner is to remove all of the dust in the home. So on your lampshades, your furniture, your high touch surfaces, your curtains, your mini blinds, so that you're getting that stuff out so that it's not circulating, continue to circulate through your system. And then we always encourage our clients to change their air filter regularly. There are air filters that are higher rated that do a little bit better job of pulling a lot of that stuff out of the air. But if you don't clean it regularly, you're not taking advantage of the effect of it because you're still blowing around that stuff.
Yeah.
So we do encourage people to get regular cleanings just outside of the move in, move out, and the post construction for that reason, particularly if you're very highly sensitive to allergies. And when seasons change, you're dragging in pollen, is coming in, and all of that stuff is getting circulated. And so you really need to, if you can afford it in your budget, to have someone come in and do a deep cleaning and get all of that dust and those contaminants out of your home. And you will smell the difference. I'm highly sensitive. I have allergies. I can tell the difference. So people who suffer from allergies, they're highly sensitive to it.
You're giving me some ideas. I'm gonna go check my filter after this.
Yes, go check your filter. Check your filter.
And then what I wanted to ask, because it's one thing I see a lot, especially in our Facebook group for some reason, is a lot of ads for duct cleaning services. And like people who will come in, there's always those pictures of a duct they're holding, and there's clouds coming out of it. Is that something you like? Do you guys actually clean the ducts?
We don't do air duct cleaning, but I do encourage people to do it, and again, particularly if you're highly sensitive, you will be surprised what they pull out
Yeah.
of the ducts. You'd be surprised, and out of your dryer vents.
Cool. All right, and I see we've had some questions submitted already, and I just want to remind everybody after my next couple points here, we'll answer all those and then wrap it up for tonight. This has been great. Thank you. And I also want to share, or maybe it's the halfway point. Do you want to share that you're going to be offering a little special treat for Jumpstart?
Yes, I do. So it's an almost secret. We are offering a 15% discount to jump starters. We have a special code for you guys. And so Derek has an infographic. He's going to post the information. And so feel free to share it to everyone that's in the network. It's exclusive to Jumpstart. I'm an alum of Jumpstart, and we will be happy, to assist you guys by giving you a discount to just help you, have that nice final finishing touch to your projects. We'll be happy to help with that.
Awesome. Thanks so much, L'Oreal. I'm sure everybody will really appreciate that. I'm just trying to find that. Do you know what the code is or
It is Jumpstart.
There you go. All right. And I'll write that. Use code
Jumpstart.
All right. So, and again, like L'Oreal mentioned, she has a flyer to everybody. Oh, what do you know? L'Oreal just opened up our Facebook group to find that flyer, and there's a huge duct cleaning ad right in front of me.
Yep.
But anyway, so I will send out that flyer to everybody, which includes the code and also a really great like recap of all the points that L'Oreal is covering right now. But yeah, my last thing, obviously, is super relevant. I want to talk about is the cost of a cleaning service overall. What should people anticipate, for their budgets? Do they want to include this as like an operating expense in their rental, budgets, or would it be a part of the construction budget for a rehab project? Tell us a little bit about how that works.
Great question. So as it relates to the rental side, a move-in, move-out cleaning is going to be based on the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, and square footage. That's how we price. So the smaller the property, the more, out the cheaper that it'll be, quite frankly. So, one bedroom, one bathroom will probably start about 170, 175-ish. And then for as you go up, most places, properties like 3 bedroom, 1 bath, or 3 bedroom, 2 bath, then you start to get into the low twos. If it's an extremely large home, you may be in threes, but I would comfortably say between $175 to about $350 for a larger home is where you'll be for move-in, move-out cleaning. Your post-construction cleanings are going to be more because, as I mentioned, it takes a lot longer, probably close to double the amount of time to do a post-construction than a move in, move out. And so I would add about $50 to $75 on top of what I referenced for the move in, move out.
Okay, great.
Post construction.
Great. And while we were on the topic of duct cleaners, I want to bring something up. Somebody in the Q&A mentioned that some posts like that on the Facebook or advertisements for duct cleaning could be scams. I know that I've seen a lot of them, and like I'm sure duct cleaning is something that's very attractive, and like people are like, oh, I want that, and then that's how they get your information or get you to use their scam service. So, L'Oreal, do you have any tips for us on how to like verify that the person you're getting a service from is legit? I mean, obviously they know Infinity cleans. Here you are.
Yeah. So, this is something that I learned from Ken way back in 2017 is just referrals. Sometimes the best way to get engaged with professionals is through word of mouth and asking people. So one of the great things about being a part of the Jumpstart community is reaching out to other Jumpstarters and saying, listen, can you refer a good cleaning company or an electrician or air duct person that they have used before? Now, is it foolproof? Not always, but it's definitely better than just sometimes just taking a chance and calling, maybe the yellow pages or whatever, right? So I would always tell people to first start with a referral if you can get one. Otherwise, I would just do extensive research on the web. Do they have a Google business profile? Are they on Yelp? Look at the reviews. Are they on Facebook and Instagram? And I would just check them out, and call, ask a lot of questions, and then you'll get a sense from, the phone call, whether or not you have confidence and want to give them a try. And then at that point, it's a good experience. Now you have someone that you can refer to others.
Great. Awesome. That's a great answer. So I think this is a good point. I got through all my notes. We can move into the Q&A unless there's any like closing points you have, or are we good?
No, we're good.
All right. Our first question here comes from Keith, and he's asking, in preparation for lead safe testing, do you clean properties differently? So I know lead is a really hot big issue, especially cities' new requirements for lead testing. Do you encounter that, and what how much, if so?
So the cleaning process for us wouldn't be any different for the lead safe, because when the person who's doing the lead testing come in, they're going to take chips from the paint in different areas in the home, and so it wouldn't impede our cleaning or skew the results that they're going to get.
Like a separate issue, sort of.
Yes.
I would imagine it's more of a construction issue than
Mhm.
a
Yeah,
clean.
it won't skew the result. It won't cause us to need to do anything differently, because they're going to just take chips, of paint from various rooms in the home. And so we would still clean the same way we would before or after.
Gotcha.
Great question, though.
Okay. And the next question comes from Brenda, and she said, would the landlord or professional stager be responsible for cleaning after the staging of the house is finished and a tenant is secured? So yeah, that's a great question.
No, so the cleaning, really falls on the owner of the property unless you specify in your lease that they are to return the property clean at the end of their tenancy. So I do have that clause in my landlord contract. Otherwise, the cleaning is the responsibility of the homeowner.
Mhm.
So you would have the home, and there are some stagers, they will not bring their furniture in your property if the house isn't clean because they don't want their furniture getting dirty, right? They're responsible for bringing in clean furniture. So they're supposed to sanitize their furniture before they bring it into your home. So there are some stagers, if they come and the place isn't clean, they won't leave their furniture. That falls on the homeowner to make sure that it's clean for the stager to come. And then after the stager leaves, if you need to have the cleaning company come back in, maybe the broom sweep, it's not a full move in, move out clean. That could just be a standard clean where they come in and they mop, they sweep, maybe remove any trash or plastic that may have, got left in the home from the furniture wrap. And but it's the responsibility of the homeowner. I hope that answers your question, but that's a great question.
Next one comes from Marquita, and she said, "How did you or how did your cleaners access training regarding chemicals? Yeah, regarding cleaning chemicals and other aspects of the training."
Yeah, so there are, we're a member of the International Association, the IACCT. So there's several cleaning associations and national associations that you become members of, and they offer all kinds of cleaning training. I mean, during COVID, there was a major push to get cleaners trained on how to clean in COVID. There's specialty cleaning for eco cleaning. There's special cleaning training that you have to go through when you're dealing with blood and other bodily fluids, and that's called biohazard cleaning. So there is a plethora of cleaning trainings that are available. Typically, you access those through the national associations, and they fall under like residential cleaning associations as well as janitorial. Sometimes if you Google it, to say janitorial trainings for cleaners. And those trainings teach you how to use the equipment and how to use it properly, how to use it to achieve a desired effect. In addition to, what's the, alkaline-based cleaners that solvents that dissolve grease versus things that are more of for sanitizing. And so you can access all of those things typically through a national association if you're a member. And there are all kinds of content, which is why, I really want to strongly tell people that a professional cleaning service, there's training for that, and also certifications for it.
Gotcha. Yeah, and Anne's next question is, do you provide training to new small cleaning business owners? I don't know if she means administrative side, how you manage your cleaning business or the actual cleaning training, but I'm sure Anne could reach out to Ariel if she wants any help.
Feel free to reach out to me because we have partnered with smaller cleaning services. And when we do that, we do provide training in our model to those individuals. So we haven't done it in terms of like, you can come to us and we'll, train cleaners. We've done it when we kind of, I guess, take on a colony or whatever of another company and we bring them on to work with us so that we know that when they go out to clean, it's under our brand and how we want that to look. So please, Derek, will make sure you get my contact information and, I'd be happy to have a conversation with you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Laura. Next question is from Carla, and she said, post-construction cleaning, does that include air scrubbing? I'm not familiar with that term.
So I guess it would depend on what's going on in the home because there are pieces of equipment that cleaners can bring in to remove odors and to pull air pollutants out, blowers. Okay, so it would just be a conversation to find out what's going on and what's needed. If the cleaning company has that equipment, because some of those pieces of equipment are very expensive.
Gotcha.
And, it would just be a conversation around whether it's needed and if it's worth the cost to do it, if we can achieve a certain effect without the added cost of bringing in those pieces of equipment.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. And our last question here is from Charlene, and she said, "Do you clean for short-term rental turnovers? Do you clean apartments?" So,
Yes.
based on
So
that,
yes,
I think the answer is yes, right?
yes. So that's a great question. We do Airbnb cleanings as well. And for those of you who are getting into Verbo and Airbnb, that is a niche. And that's a subscription service. And yes, so we do Airbnb cleanings as well.
All right, great. Well, I think that's all the questions there, and I'll keep an eye on the tab and see if any more come up here. But thank you so much, L'Oreal. That was really awesome. And I think I'm even gonna. So in our training program, we're coming up on the session where we'll talk about like renting and leasing and how to turn over properties. And I think I'm going to suggest that everybody from the training program come listen to this and like really learn about this process because I think this is applicable to a lot more than just cleaning services. It's like this is a great way to look at all aspects of the process. I'm really glad we got to go this deep into it. So thank you so much, L'Oreal.
And Derek, if I can, as we close out, I wrote down a couple of things that, I would share to, all of my Jumpstart alumni is I would encourage you to think comprehensively about building your team. And
Mhm.
sometimes the cleaning, as a cleaning professional, we're kind of overlooked.
Yeah.
And so you think about your attorney, your accountant, and all of your professionals that support the process. But when you're thinking about your skilled trades, do not forget to leave out your cleaning service and your stager, because there are certain things, the details separate an amateur from the professionals. And one of my notes here is that as you grow in your business, the devil is in the details, okay? Making sure that your property is clean, making sure that your property is staged. Those are things that are going to translate to your client as this person is a professional and they thought about all of the details, and it just sets the tone for a more profitable transaction for you, but then also a smoother transaction because they said this is somebody that knows what they're doing. I would just also encourage you guys to think about your project from the perspective of your client or your buyer. So, if you're that homeowner and you have cobbled together all the money that you have to purchase a house or all the money that you have to afford that rental property, um, does it endear you to your potential landlord or your potential seller that they have thought to have the place clean nicely for you and smelling fresh and it's nicely staged.
Mhm.
Okay. And so again, those are some of the small details that separate the professionals from the amateur that you have when you made your budget. Make sure that you budgeted an additional, $300 to make sure that it's clean. And so, and I guess as I close, I would just say to you, never underestimate your competition. When you're in real estate, it is a very competitive market. And depending on the neighborhood that you're in, it can come down to a detail such as that as to why your property is the property that gets sold or yours the property that does not get sold when you're in certain markets. But whether you're in a hot market or maybe you're, in a not so hot market, a C or a D market, is always representative of your brand, how you present your properties. So always think about that, whether you're servicing Section 8 or maybe you're doing, halfway housing, whatever your niche is in this market it's representative of your brand. So make sure that everything that you do it in a spirit of excellence. And when you do things with a spirit of excellence, you'll be successful.
Great, awesome. It's a wonderful way to close. Thank you so much, L'Oreal. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So again, if you have any questions for L'Oreal, we'll get her contact information email out to you tomorrow. And I just want to real quickly before we close, wrap up with this flyer we have for our upcoming Jumpinars. In 2 weeks, the week after our training program finishes, we're having a discussion with one of our all-star mentors. I think we've paired like 40 to 50 people with him over the past couple years. Um, his name's Brendan Kelly, and we're going to talk about how to use your mentor. L'Oreal, I'm sure you remember the opportunity to be a
Oh,
mentor
yes.
after you graduate. And we have a network of mentors to match our graduates up with. And mentorship, it goes beyond Jumpstart. It's kind of just a concept in the real estate world. You know, everybody has a mentor, whether it be formal or informal. And this is a discussion we're going to talk about how to use them, questions to ask, you know, how to keep them engaged and keep yourself engaged and that sort of thing. So that's coming up on November 9th. Really recommend going to that one. And also the rest of November, we have two great Tangled titles. Local activist Judith Robinson, who's also privy to the development work. And also at the end of the month on November 30th, we've got Pierre Street, who's a contractor, and we're going to be talking about contractor relationships. And I haven't had my prep call with him, so I'm not sure exactly what we'll talk about, but I know everybody loves so I'm sure we'll see a lot of you there that week. But yeah, you can go to our website, jumpstartgermantown.com/events to register for those. And again, all our everything are up at jumpstartgermantown.com/library. Just head there and tomorrow you'll see both today's recording as well as all our past JUMPinars. I believe there's close to 100 now. I think we're in the low 90s. So thank you everybody, and I hope you have a great rest of your night. And go Phillies! I won't see,
Yes.
I won't see you guys until 2 weeks, and it won the World Series or lost the World Series. So I'm hoping it's good. All right, have a
Thank you.
see ya.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, L'Oreal. Thank you so much.